Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Sunday Summary. I'm your host, Kyle, and I am with nobody today. I know it's sad, but that's okay because we're just going to run it up by ourselves and have a good time. What we got to talk about this week was the big news breaking earlier. Jude Bellingham, the saga that never ends. All right, we were linked with Jude Bellingham. We were likely going to get him, and guess what happened? We pulled out. That's what she said. No, but seriously, we pulled out of the race for Jude Bellingham, and all the reports said that it was the price. And so I had a long week. I had a long week of thinking about this. And I kind of came to the realization that we're just never going to buy a player that's above a certain price. We're never going to. I mean, you think with Darwin Nunez, you think buying him, right? I know it was with add-ons. You got 64, 68, whatever it was. And with add-ons, it's up to 85. You see that number and you're like, oh, 85. I mean, Liverpool, they splashed the cash on that. True. But then you look back at players like Keita and Allison. They're 50, 60, right? That's our range. We don't go above that. For some reason, FSG and Liverpool and the football directing team don't see these players as above a certain value, regardless of how good they are. So, Jude Bellingham being priced at 130 is apparently too much for the club, and therefore we pulled out. Now, one thing I did see during the week was a side-by-side of 4 different media posts, and they all said Liverpool pulled out of the race for X player, and it was like Thiago, Mane, Van Dijk, and I believe, God, who was the other player? Salah, maybe? Don't quote me on that last one. It could be a tactic to get the player. But as of right now, it simply looks as if we had been strung along this entire time. And when I say we, I mean fans had been strung along this entire time. And now, when it's crunch time, we look incompetent. And that's really what bothers me the most, is that we look incompetent. Now, I have been very vocal, and I'll say it. I've been very vocal about my support for FSG. Now, this doesn't just come down to the fact that they're American owners and I'm American. No, it's more so the respect I have that they were able to accomplish, and not just them, Klopp and the rest of the backroom staff and everything, and the team, of course. What they were able to accomplish without spending Chelsea, PSG, Man City money, right? My respect was there. But after this, and again, this is just right now, because who knows what can happen in the future. We could go into the summer and actually get Jude Bellingham. You never know. But as of right now, it looks incompetent. It looks as if we've reached a point where it's no longer being smart with our money. I feel like it's now you're just being cheap. And other people have their different thresholds. A lot of fans are going to be like, they've been cheap for years. It's like, no, they've been frugal for years. There's a big difference. You can be frugal and be excellent with your money and still spend money on things that are valuable, which is what we've done. But when you're cheap, that's a big issue. And it seems as if Liverpool almost look like we're cheap now. Now, the whole point of the show today, I want to look at what our midfield could look like without Jude Bellingham next season. And that's given that we don't buy him. You never know. We still could. The names that are being linked, the big one, Alexis Mac Allister of Brighton. Got Ryan Gravenberch, however you want to say it, from Bayern Munich, who we were also linked with before he made that move to Bayern. Aurelien Tchouameni again, by the way. And then Nicolo Barella, who might fall in that 50 to 60 range. We were linked with Barella after the Euros, I believe. And he ended up making that move. Or maybe he didn't move at all. I can't remember. But the fact remains is that Liverpool have a player have a style of player, have a price point for a player. And those are the guys. Now, I want to touch on Tchouameni first. It doesn't make any sense, and this is the same thing with Matheus Nunes. It doesn't make any sense for Liverpool to be in for a player after one season at another club. To me, I don't know. I feel like, it happens all the time. But for me, it's just like, why would they make that move in the first place? Why? Why would that even happen? Why wouldn't we just get them before they made that move? Matheus Nunes, for example. Like, Tchouameni's different. I think he decided to go to Madrid. Whereas Matheus Nunes, I feel like we had the opportunity to get him and just didn't. So he goes to Wolves. Now we're being linked with him again. It's like, why? You should have just got him in the first place. So those are the names. We'll talk about them all. But I want to say good morning to everyone. Teabags for Life, Ross, Sir Oswald, Max M, Liz is in here, Falafel. Good morning to everyone. Thanks for your support. Make sure you slap a like on the stream if you're enjoying it. Gary Richards saying FSG out, and I can't blame anyone who's saying FSG out at this point, even though I don't agree with it. It's just a tough time. Tough time to be a Liverpool fan. Let me tell you, all around. Hannah as well. Good morning to everyone. So let's look at Alexis Mac Allister, right? Alexis Mac Allister has wanted to leave, or he has vocalized this week that he wants to leave Brighton. This one I can definitely see, and I actually think this is one of the more likely transfers for Liverpool to get. Alexis Mac Allister, Argentinian, of course. I feel like he's an under-the-radar player. And let's go to Football Talk to look at this one. And the headline. Oh, I got to sneeze. Hold on. Oh, it's allergy season. The headline for this one, Liverpool confident in making the signing of Alexis Mac Allister. Right? So, let's pull this up. Hopefully the stream quality isn't poop. Now, get rid of all this. I don't care about any of this crap. I literally said no cookies. So here it is. Liverpool have switched their attention to signing of Brighton and Hove Albion midfielder Alexis Mac Allister in the summer transfer window, according to Football Insider. The Reds have decided not to pursue a move for Borussia Dortmund midfielder Jude Bellingham, who we can get to in a minute, at the end of the season because of the money involved and have now set sights on alternative targets. By the way, don't forget, if we re-sign Milner, it's like a new signing. The 19-year-old has been linked with a move to Klopp's side, and this is talking about Bellingham. However, it's believed that the move for England International could cost well in excess of £100 million. Yeah, that's putting it lightly. They're valuing this kid at 130 to 150 million, rightly so. All right, this is basically an article about Jude Bellingham. When are we going to get to? Here we go. Reinforcement, right? So Liverpool have been linked with a host of midfielders, including James Ward-Prowse, not going to happen. Moises Caicedo, not going to happen, by the way. The price is too high for him as well. Matheus Nunes, Nicolo Barella, Alex Scott, who we're also heavily linked with, Mason Mount, who I could totally see, and Mac Allister has emerged as a top target. And the reason for this is because the value can't be as high when a player has publicly come out and said they want to leave the club. It just makes sense, right? You don't have any leverage negotiating from Brighton's standpoint. Now, Carlos, who is Alexis Mac Allister's father, I believe is his agent. I could be wrong, but I think it's his agent. Clubs are starting to call us for Alexis, but there are no concrete talks now. We'll decide together with Brighton. They deserve respect, absolutely. We will pick the best project based on the coach, too. It's not about money. There's this new trend of players, and we heard it with Bellingham, too, that says it's not about money, and I fucking love that. I absolutely love that. I just want to go on record as saying that. Now, he's young, 24 years old. His contract expires in 2025, but they do have the option to extend the deal by a further 12 months. Now, since moving to Brighton, right, He has a total of 102 appearances with 18 goals and 8 assists in the process at the time of writing this article. He's valued by Transfer Marked, whatever, at 38 million pounds. So likely 50-ish if you're going on trying to make a profit or, whatever. 12 goal contributions this season from the midfield. So thoughts. Let's look at this. Alexis Mac Allister. Likely price range. Has said he wants to leave. And the club clearly are not going to go for a player that is worth 130 million pounds. It's just not going to happen. Like it will not happen. We're not Chelsea. Chelsea will spend any amount of money on any player and they don't care. And that's not right. I'm not saying that's right. I'm saying it's stupid. But Liverpool won't even do it once. So there's that. So Alexis Mac Allister is the first guy. I think Alexis Mac Allister in the midfield would be a very good option for Liverpool to have some creativity. Because we don't have any creativity in the midfield. And it doesn't even, it's not even creativity right now. It's just overall. The entire midfield needs a revamp. But right as of now, the issue is just flat out quality, speed, technical ability, and everything in the midfield. We lack it completely. Ross says we need to be realistic. Quality does not have to be ridiculously expensive. Great point, Ross. Really good point. Because it doesn't. And that's where I have respect for FSG. Because they know that. You don't have to do anything. You can just let the club rot with the players it has now. That's fine. But you don't have to go and spend 130, 150 million on one player. You don't have to. Nothing says you do. The only thing that we as fans believed is that not the lack of, because we have spent money. We have. You look at what we've spent. We have spent money. We have been made to believe that Jude Bellingham was the guy. Now, whether that's the media's fault or the team's fault, I think it's more so the media. The media made us believe it. But you can still get 2 quality players for the price of Jude Bellingham. Now, are you getting the youth, the English benefit, the camaraderie, rapport benefit that he has with Henderson and Trent and other English players? Maybe not. But is that to you worth 130 million? These are all things you got to weigh. That's a good point, Ross, though. Oivan, what's going on? So that's Alexis Mac Allister. Okay. I want to know what you guys think. Scale of 1 to 10, how likely and how good of a choice would it be? And you can use both of those metrics to put your opinion down. Alexis Mac Allister right there. I'm going to skip over Moises Caicedo because I saw a report suggesting, and this is a lot of the reports are like this now, that yes, we're interested, but the price is too high, 70 million. So Alexis Mac Allister is more likely our speed. One I really want to touch on, because personally I'm excited about it, is Ryan Gravenberch. Okay. Now, Ryan Gravenberch here. Okay. Okay, that's stupid. 90 minutes. Let's go to 2 hours ago. And this is from Goal. Okay. Jude Bellingham alternative. Red step up interest in Bayern Munich star Ryan Gravenberch ahead of potential summer transfer. All right, I'll share my screen with you guys here so you can see it. Ryan Gravenberch is a guy we were linked with before he made the move to Bayern Munich. We did not pull the trigger. Okay? Fact of the matter is we did not pull the trigger. This guy's price is a phenomenal price. All right? Now, you see here the headline, not the headline, but the summary. Liverpool no longer interested in 130 million pound Bellingham. And so now Gravenberch is an alternative player. In addition to Mac Allister, who we touched on previously. If you're watching just now, you're just tuning in, you can go back and watch the summary of that. Now, he played for Ajax, as we know. He's super young. I still think he's like 18 or 19. I really think he's really young. Now, the Ajax midfielder, joined the Bundesliga Giants on a season on a 5-year contract. He has limited game time so far, rightly so, super young. Leon Goretzka and Joshua Kimmich, both very young, very talented in their ranks. He's only managed 711 minutes on the pitch thus far. Okay. Now, Bayern are likely looking to make a profit on the Dutchman, as they have reportedly set a price of $25 million on the player, who could leave the club next summer after just one season at the club. Okay. Cool. Good to know. Is there anything else? No. That's it. That's it. It's the only thing, right? And this is what we've been seeing. I'm interested in this, though, because I want him. I want Ryan Gravenberch. I want a young star player who's played at the top level, and he has played at the top level, to come into the team. Okay? You might not be getting Jude Bellingham for that price, but you're getting a player for the future. You're also getting a Dutch player. I think he's Dutch. So those are things to think about. Now, Mason Mount is another one. Mason Mount is another. Yes, I want to leave this. That's the funniest thing that's ever happened on this stream. No question. All right. So, yes, I want to leave this site, and I hit the wrong one. Okay. So, let's share the screen here. All right, Mason Mount. Hold on. Also, shout out to my Knicks last night, man. God. All right, where are we going on here? All right, let's go to the latest link. This is 1 hour ago from Football London, okay, regarding Mason Mount. All right, Chelsea may have already have Mason Mount dilemma answer as Liverpool plot transfer swoop. I accept, because you won't let me do anything else otherwise. And Mason Mount is going through contract talks with Chelsea, but Liverpool are a likely destination for the player. So if we take a look at Mason Mount, okay, pull this up. Oh, it's already up. It says Chelsea are facing a serious dilemma regarding Mason Mount's future. Okay, his contract expires in 2024. And Football London reported earlier this month, Liverpool have made the 24-year-old their priority transfer target this summer. I don't know about priority transfer target, but Mason Mount is a consistent link with Liverpool Football Club. Okay. And that's something to think about. So with Mason Mount being a top transfer target, in addition to like Alexis Mac Allister and players of that nature, I want Mason Mount, by the way. I really want Mason Mount. I'm very impressed with how he plays. And Chris Thames says he wants over $250K a week. Let's see if that's even in here. The Blues are looking to tie him down to a 7-year contract. Holy God. That's becoming a big thing now. 7-year contract. I know players at Athletic Bilbao. What's his name? Iñaki Williams. He signed a 9-year contract a few years ago. And then Sanset, or Oyhan Sanset, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. He just signed, I think, a 9-year deal, 7 or 9-year deal. So some clubs do this. I mean, goalkeepers are more prominent with it. I know Allison signed a 6-year deal when he came here. But anyways, what is it here? Let's see if there's anything regarding his wages. Reports have suggested that Chelsea would want a fee in the region of $70 million for Mount, despite him only having a year left on his current deal. This could help the club avoid any potential financial fair play issues after spending 6. Yeah, you don't say. Blues have already signed the perfect replacement for Mount. Andre Santos, what? I don't even know who that is. Who is Andre Santos? Is he from South America or something? I have no idea who that is. I'm not going to lie. So I guess that's his replacement. Yeah, there you go. Under 20s in South America. I guess he's a replacement for Mason Mount at 11 years old, who scored 11 goals in 42 appearances. Okay, well, there you go. Mason Mount. Okay, it's a saga, and it's going to drag out. It's going to drag out. That's all. That's what's going to happen. We won't know anything until this summer. Now, the question that I have is if Liverpool aren't willing to spend $70 million for Moises Caicedo, and Caicedo probably wants less money than Mason Mount, why would Liverpool go for a player who's probably just as much and wants more money per week? That doesn't make sense to me. Because wasn't Moises Caicedo on $3K a week at Brighton? Maybe he signed a new contract recently and that's up. But I mean, it's unreal. It's just, these are the questions that you got to ask, guys. These are the questions that you have to ask. Now, another one I want to bring up is Aurelien Tchouameni. Nope, wrong tab. Can't mess it up again. I'm so silly. All right, Tchouameni. Right? You guys know him. I wanted him. Everybody wanted him. Star French player at Monaco. Really, really quality player. Would make absolutely no sense to me if he made that transfer to Madrid for what, 80, 100 mil, whatever it was, and leaves after 1 year. That makes no sense. It wouldn't happen. But I want him, so we're looking at it. Okay? Real Madrid confident Tchouameni will come good. Yeah. No shit. Why would you... Like, that makes no sense. Real Madrid will not sell Aurelien Tchouameni to fund Jude Bellingham. Like, it's not going to happen, guys. But the report saying is that Klopp could reignite interest in Tchouameni because Tchouameni, I don't know, wasn't getting game time or so. I don't even know what the case was. But Tchouameni was the guy. We missed out on him. He went to Madrid. It's done. It's over. It hurts. I want him, but it's over. It's over. That's it. I don't even want to click on any of these because it doesn't make sense for a player to leave a club after making that big of a transfer after 1 year. It doesn't make sense. Does it happen? Yes, but it absolutely makes no sense. Gravenberch makes more sense because he's not getting playing time. You make a big transfer to a club and then you're not getting playing time. Like another example I think of right off the bat is Bissouma to Tottenham. Now, I don't know if he's injured or not. But a transfer like that where you go to a big club and you don't get playing time, maybe you want to leave. You know? Look at Carvalho with Liverpool. He's clearly not that big of a player. But he's getting almost no playing time. I wouldn't blame him if he wanted to go out on loan or something. There is no way, absolutely no way, that Tchouameni would leave Madrid this summer. And if he did, guess what we're paying? Upwards of 100 mil. Guess what? Who else is worth that? Jude Bellingham. So we would go for Jude Bellingham, I think, before we went for Tchouameni. And that's my personal opinion. Nicolo Barella. He's the other guy. And then I'll open up the floor to everyone and we can just chat. Nicolo Barella. Okay. In the Echo, this is the one that I saw earlier. Caicedo's out. He's not, I just can't see it. Liverpool's decision to step away from pursuing Jude Bellingham. Yes, I accept because you won't let me do anything otherwise. It's literally forcing my hand. I hate it. All right, let's take a look at this. Under Jurgen Klopp and the two people who have held the title of sporting director on his watch, and Michael Edwards and Julian Ward, the club have become renowned Okay, lovely. Yep, right as I'm reading. Right as I'm reading. The club have become renowned for being studious and meticulous operators where player trading is concerned. For years, Liverpool have operated both clinically and prolifically on the whole to ensure their targets are brought in with minimum fuss. Okay, what are we doing here? These ads are getting out of control. Okay? This is why nobody reads newspapers or never mind. Okay. Now, Liverpool's May 2021 triggering for Ibrahima Konate's RB Leipzig release clause and their most recent deal for Cody Gakpo at the turn of the year. These are all great strategies. It's kind of what the article is talking about. Swift negotiations, low fees, bring them in, right? Now, other players, such as Virgil van Dijk, Becker, and Naby Keita, for example, were viewed as must-haves by the club at the time. All three were pursued vigorously, and in the case of Van Dijk, Klopp was so convinced that he was the right man for them that he eschewed the opportunity to pursue an alternative target when relations initially broke down with Southampton in the summer of 2017. It's essentially just giving background. Okay, actually, I think it's a good article. Now, that steadfast insistence on the right player, though, has changed for the forthcoming summer. Now it's about the right number of players, guys. Because Jude Bellingham being the right player, apparently we've pulled out of negotiations for him. So now it has to be the right number of players. Okay. Now, Alexis Mac Allister, we talked about at the beginning. So if you're just joining us, you can go back and watch that. Moises Caicedo, we talked about that a little bit ago. And then Mason Mount and Conor Gallagher. Conor Gallagher's adamant he wants to stay in London. Mateus Nunes and Bayern Munich's Ryan Gravenberch, who I talked about as well. It's just unbelievable. Nicolo Barella of Inter Milan. Bristol City's Alex Scott and RB Salzburg Luka Sucic are three more who are being looked at, it is believed, while links to Fulham's João Palhinha and Leicester duo Youri Tielemans and James Maddison have also surfaced. But Tielemans way too slow. James Maddison, no. No. Barella, that's what I want. Oh my God, is that it? Okay, I was about to freak out. Oh my God, is that it? Is that it? Is that the whole article? Wow. Echo let me down. They only bring up Barella in like the last paragraph. It's crazy. Anyways, so that's that. Nicolo Barella is a player I want. Okay. I think, personally, if we could get Nicolo Barella, Ryan Gravenberch, and Alexis Mac Allister, would you guys be happy with that? Would you guys be happy with that? Honestly, answer me. Like, would you be happy with that transfer? Because if it were me, if it was a perfect world, I'm looking at players such as, like, if I could bring in anybody, guys, like, if it were up to me, like, how great would it be to get Tchouameni, Bellingham, and then, like, Mason Mount? You know? Think about it. Well, I even said I'd be happy with Mane and Origi. Yeah. Mane apparently punched Sane. I didn't know that. And now we might get him back. I doubt that'll happen. Max M says, when Pep Linders wants someone, he gets Gravenbach, Coop Miners. That's another player we're being linked with. Curious Carl says, no, we still need a solid CDM. Exchange one of those with a CDM. Okay. You don't think Gravenbach could play CDM? Kefren Turam from Nice is also another one. That's a great point. Great point. So, Tchouameni, all right, I don't know why everyone thought Tchouameni wasn't a CDM. Like, he is. He's a box-to-box midfielder, but he can play CDM. That's who I wanted, right? But we got to take Tchouameni out. So, Turam. Let's look at Turam. because that guy looks promising. Let's look at him. Let me pull it up for you guys. Ruben Nerves. Ruben Nerves. I like it. Gallagher is going to stay in London. Almost positive. Almost positive. Just Hannah says Gravenberch would be ideal, and I agree. That's why I wanted him. Yo Cool says need a solid right back too. Trent is moving to mid this season. Any update on Declan Rice? Nothing. Nothing that I'm hearing. Nothing that I'm hearing right now, but I'll keep you all updated. The big names, obviously, are Mac Allister. That is like the one where I'm like, okay, we could actually get this guy. And then Gravenberch. Those two, for me, are like the most likely right now, in my opinion. Now, let me pull this up for you guys so we can look at Thuram. Let's just bring the entire old Liverpool back. You know what I'm saying? Let's just get Mane, Origi. Heck, we could get Coutinho while we're at it. All right. Khéphren Thuram. He's 22 years old. I like that. Defensive midfielder. 1 cap for France. Let's look at his value. 32 million euros is the highest market value. He has no agent. That's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him. He actually has citizenship in Guadeloupe in France. I love looking at Transfermarkt. So, Monaco to Nice. Okay, so he's been in France for a while. So maybe this was the guy that was like second on Klopp's list after Tchouameni. Maybe he looked at this guy and was like, oh, okay, this guy could be the next Tchouameni. Let's look at all. Actually, you know what I want to do for Thuram? I want to look at his advanced statistics. Here he is. All right. So you guys can see this here. We're looking at his statistics here compared to other central defensive midfielders. And let's pull it up here. So versus midfielders. Okay, now this is versus top 5 leagues. You guys can see it here. Player compared to positional peers in men's Big 5 leagues, Champions League, Europa League over the last year based on 2,584 minutes played. So let's take a look at it. So statistics, okay, per 90 in terms of shooting actions, goals, shot actions created, those kinds of things, falls kind of above average, right? In the top percentile for some and not so much in others. Expected assists per game, non-expected plus expected, like those kinds of stats, he looks pretty good. He's fallen in the green and all those. Doesn't seem like he's obviously he's a defensive midfielder. So you're going to notice these number of passes and progressive passes, not so much. But the good thing that stands out to me is look at this, progressive carries. Guy turns and wants to go up the pitch. That's what that tells me. And he tells me he can also dribble successful take-ons, 1.6 per game, which is in the 94th percentile. You look at Fabinho, for example, like Fabinho's not going to take anyone on. He's going to get the ball, hold it, and wait for a pass out. Maybe go over the top every now and then, right? Now, let's look at this here, though, down here. Maybe this is because Nice are not a super defending team. I don't know. I don't watch the French league. Maybe because they're always attacking. They don't have as much possession because you look at these numbers. He doesn't have as many tackles, interceptions, blocks, clearances, aerials won. The aerials one thing is a little concerning, but, whatever. But that could be down to a number of different things. Like the team might be just a terrible defending team, or they might not have to defend as much. Those are all things you got to think about. So that's Thuram. Now, if you look at his statistics here, League One, 2 goals, 4 assists in 30 matches played. In the Conference League, 3 assists, no goals. Expected goals, 2.92, and expected non-expected penalty goals, or expected, Jesus! Struggling here. Wages, he is on $16,731 per week. So we get him, you can offer him a $40K contract and he'd probably be happy. $50K contract, he'd probably be happy. He was born in Italy. Interesting. Okay. Now, he's 6'3". This dude's tall. So why is his aerial duels? Maybe he can't jump. I don't know. So there he is. What do you guys think? Let's look at Ugarte. I don't even know what Ugarte. Which one? Juan? Victor? Which one? The Sociedad? Which Ugarte? Let me know. And I'm relying on you guys. Is it Carlos Martinez Ugarte? You guys got to help me out here. I'm just clicking on him. Manuel Ugarte Sporting. Got it. Thank you. All right. This has got to be him, right? Yeah, this is him. Okay, looks like, yeah, he doesn't. Wow. I don't know about all these stats, but let's see. Let's just go to his scouting report just to see, because I'm looking at his stats. Of course, he doesn't have goals or assists, but you never know. Maybe he's strictly a defensive midfielder. And that is exactly what he is, because if you look at his shooting statistics, he's not an attacking player at all. Wow, it's really bad. Bottom 20% in almost everything except for shot creating actions and shots total. But honestly, that doesn't matter. Let's look. Here we go down here. Now, but could this be down to this team having to defend a lot? Like, that's why these statistics are sometimes misleading, because he's in the 99th percentile for tackles. So one, the man can tackle, or two, he's put in a lot of situations where he needs to tackle. Interceptions, 97th percentile, and blocks, 94th percentile. Clearances, that doesn't really matter, because if you're not in the box, you don't have to clear. Aerials, one, another low percentile. Now, pass completion percentage, 99th percentile, so the man can pass. Successful take-ons, another good dribbler, okay? 1.52. Now, he doesn't get forward a lot. You can see touches in the attacking penalty area. All right, 0.22 per match. Progressive passes received, obviously that's going to be low. Progressive passes, 4.52 per game. Progressive carries, it's a little bit higher than Thuram, but still 56th percentile. So that's an interesting one. Let's look at Bajcetic. I want to look at Bajcetic real quick. In the games he's played. Wow, he hasn't really played that much. Seems like he played a lot more. So yeah, the stats aren't jumping off the page for Bajcetic, but when you watch, that's why these stats can be misleading sometimes. I just want to throw that out there to lead it off, because Bajcetic passed the eye test and he was playing well. But then you come and look at the statistics compared to other players, and he's just average to below average, right? But he's also 18 years old. So now, similar players, look at the players he's compared to. Not very great players, right? Thomas Partey, Oriol Romeu, Kiki Perez, that kind of thing. I mean, obviously professionals, Douglas Luiz, Musa Sissoko, Ruben Alcaraz. I don't even know who that is. But Then you type in a player like, let's say, Gravenbach. Oh, wow. Yeah, he's played less than Bajcetic. Poor guy. But look at the stats. Look at the stats. Now, of course, this is because he plays a different position, right? But if you look at the players he's similar to, you recognize a lot more of those names on there, huh? Don't you? Alexis Mac Allister, Conor Gallagher, Thuram is in there. Okay. And guess what? Bingo! Jude Bellingham. Okay. Federico Valverde, who, if you guys watch this channel, is his favorite of Steven. And honestly, he's really good. But look at these stats, man. Look at these stats. Not so much a defensive player, but look at these progressive passes received. Now, again, they play for Bayern, so these stats might be a little bit inflated. But look at the expected goals, expected assists, shot creating actions. This guy's good. I want to look at Jude Bellingham now because this is what gives me an idea of a player and their potential and how good they are compared to their respective peers. Oh my God. Jude Bellingham just jumps off the page, guys. Look at that. That's why his price is where it is. Look at that. Look at those statistics. He is above the 90th percentile for damn near everything except pass completion and clearances. That is so crazy. Wow, what a player. I want to look at Alexis Mac Allister next. Noticed Mason Mount isn't on any of these lists, by the way, as similar players. Now, of course, he's more of a winger, attacking mid, but let's just take a look at Alexis Mac Allister's scouting report. Make sure you guys, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, if you're enjoying this content, make sure you slap a like on the stream as well. We'll be wrapping up here in just a minute. Alexis Mac Allister, okay, doesn't jump off the page. Might be why he's the price he is. I don't know. This is just so not good to just use this in order to value a player. But I mean, you look at the names he's compared to. I don't recognize any of these names. Except for, of course, Thuram, Mateus Henrique, and then Federico Valverde. Angel Gomez is even on here. Jesus. All right, let's look at Mason Mount. Last one. He's actually played a lot this season, but he's definitely not at his best. 24 matches played, 3 goals, 2 assists. Yeah, it's not his best. Ooh, yeah. 70 mil for that? I mean, I don't know. Now, wait, that's versus midfielders. Let's look at versus. Oh, no, that's versus attacking wingers. Let's look at versus midfielders. See, much better versus midfielders. But again, he plays attacking wing. So then it's bad. Then it's really bad. So everyone, let's keep that in mind. It's tough, guys. It's tough when you look at all these statistics. You can't, you got to take it with a grain of salt because you don't know. You don't know. Ramsey Villa stats. All right, fine. Last one we'll do. Last one we'll do is Ramsey from Villa just to see. Jacob Ramsey? It's got to be Jacob Ramsey. Yeah. Why do you guys want to look at this guy? Oh. Okay, that's why. About attacking. Okay, so he's obviously a midfielder based on the stats. Not bad. Not bad. Interesting. Interesting stats. I want to go back to Kefren Taram here. Those are pretty good. But again, it looks like he's more of an attacking midfielder that just plays CDM. I don't know. I don't know, guys. You got to take all this with a grain of salt. You really do. But that's what we're working with. Those are the players Liverpool are being linked with. And it's tough because this entire time we've been strung along to believe that Jude Bellingham was the guy. Bellingham obviously jumped off the page when we looked at those stats. Completely jumped off the page. Okay? It's frustrating, yes. And we won't know until the summer. It could be a strategy, as I said at the beginning of the show. It could very well just be a strategy for the club to lower the price, pull out of negotiations. We saw the same thing with Thiago a while back. But we absolutely need to rebuild the midfield. You have to. You can't. Keita and Ox will walk. So there's two players you have to bring in immediately. I love James Milner. Don't get me wrong. And if Liz, you're still in here, James freaking Milner. I love James Milner. But there comes a point in time where it's like, you got to move on. And I know you guys understand that. You got to move on. You got to sign fresh blood, fresh legs. Sometimes it's tough to watch other teams signing players that you know are quality. But in my head, I sit here and I justify it. I'm like, well, they're spending too much money. It's not the right move. That player's just going to sit and rot on the bench. Maybe. But at least they have the option to play that guy. At least they have the option to play that guy. I don't really have much else to say on the matter. But the whole point of this show, I wanted to provide you guys with all the links to these players that I've seen over the past week as the Jude Bellingham alternatives. And for you to make your own choices based on the statistics I presented. That's what I did. I started doing it with Luis Diaz. And I'll go on record and say that I said I don't want Luis Diaz based on these stats. And so that should tell you all you need to know about looking at those stats. Take it with a grain of salt. Luis Diaz was not one of the best players statistically. But the eye test. The eye test. Keep an eye on these players. Alexis Mac Allister, Gravenberch, Mason Mount, little iffy. Mateus Nunes. I guess that's the Liverpool way now. No Jude Bellingham. Okay. That's it. I'll leave it with this thought from Curious Carl here. A generational talent. He told us that funds for a generational talent will always be available. He did that after we failed to get Mbappe. Jude was supposed to be that player, according to his words. I don't think anyone promised anything. But how much of this is on Klopp, FSG? We'll never know. We'll never know the true amount. And we will actually never know what's actually going on. We don't know. The media dictates everything that we think. And they've done it for 100 years. Everything that we think, the media has a hand in it. Specifically with sports. The media will play on the emotions of fans for clicks. We do it on YouTube. People do it on social media. It's done everywhere. Okay? Reporters do it with managers and players. They ask questions to trigger the emotions and get a response out of these players and managers. Sometimes it works. Sometimes they get shut down. That's their job. So everything you read, everything you see, take it with a grain of salt. Because we won't know, as Tony Madden graciously puts every single time I make a transfer video, we won't believe or know anything until that player is holding up the Liverpool shirt. So I appreciate you guys being here, as always. Make sure you smash that like button. Liz, go Knicks. Congrats to your Celtics. We both won game 1. Hopefully Liverpool can pull out the win this week. I got nothing else, guys. Until next time, take care.